My beloved child, before you rush into another day, I want you to stop for just a moment. Take one slow breath, and then another. I know you've been carrying more than anyone realizes. You've smiled while your heart was breaking. You've told people, I'm okay, even when your soul felt completely exhausted. I've seen every silent tear, every sleepless night, and every prayer you whispered when no one else was listening. Nothing about your pain has ever been hidden from me. Not the battles you fought in silence, not the fear you hid behind your smile, not the nights when you wondered if anyone truly understood what you were carrying. I was there. Even when you couldn't feel me, I was there. There were moments when you looked toward heaven and quietly asked, God, are you still with me? My child, I heard every question. I heard every cry. And even when my answer didn't come the way you expected, my hand never left your life. Today I need you to understand something that will change the way you see your past. My silence was never my absence. While you thought nothing was happening, I was working in ways your eyes could never see. I was protecting you from battles you never knew existed. I was closing doors that would have led to heartbreak. I was removing people who could never walk with you into the future I prepared for your life. You called it rejection. I called it protection. You called it delay. I called it preparation. You thought I had forgotten you, but my child, I have never forgotten your name. Before you ever spoke your first prayer, I already knew every chapter of your story. Before your first tear ever touched the ground, I had already planned how I would comfort you. Before your greatest disappointment, I had already prepared your greatest breakthrough. Nothing in your life has ever surprised me. Not your failures, not your fears, not your mistakes, not even the moments when you almost gave up. I saw every one of them, and I never stopped loving you. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. And you are certainly not behind. You are exactly where my wisdom has allowed you to be. So don't lose heart. Don't give up now, because what I'm about to reveal to you will change the way you see every painful chapter of your life forever. The waiting was never wasted. My beloved child, I know waiting has been one of the hardest parts of your journey. You prayed, you believed, you hoped, and still, the answer seemed to take longer than you expected. There were days when you wondered if heaven had become silent. There were nights when you questioned whether your prayers were reaching me at all. But my child, every prayer reached me. Not one tear was ignored. Not one word was forgotten. While you were counting the days, I was preparing the right moment. You see delay as empty time. I see it as preparation. A seed buried beneath the ground looks forgotten. No one sees it growing. No one hears the miracle happening beneath the soil. Yet every single day, life is quietly taking shape. Your life has been much like that seed. You thought nothing was happening. But beneath the surface, I was growing your faith. I was strengthening your heart. I was removing pride. I was teaching you patience. I was preparing you for blessings that would have crushed the person you used to be. If I had answered every prayer the moment you asked, you would have received the gift, but missed the transformation. And I care more about who you're becoming than simply giving you what you're asking for. My beloved child, some of your greatest disappointments were actually my greatest protections. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that disappeared. You called them setbacks. I called them detours that kept you away from destruction. One day, you'll look back and realize I wasn't saying no. I was saying, not yet. Because timing changes everything. Rain is beautiful, but it destroys a harvest if it comes at the wrong season. The same blessing, given too early, can become a burden. That's why I never rush my plans. Everything I do with perfect timing. Even now, while you're listening to these words, pieces of your future are quietly falling into place. People you haven't met yet, doors you haven't seen yet, miracles you haven't imagined yet. I'm already preparing them. So don't mistake my silence for absence. Don't confuse waiting with rejection. And don't let temporary delays convince you that I've forgotten you. I never have. I never will. The day is coming when everything you've been asking me about will finally make sense. And when it does, you'll realize that every moment of waiting was leading you exactly where you needed to be. I never left you in the storm. My beloved child, there were moments when you believed your life was falling apart. Everything you trusted seemed to disappear. The future looked uncertain. The silence felt unbearable. And somewhere deep inside, you quietly asked, God, where are you? My child, I was closer than you ever realized. I wasn't standing far away watching your pain. I was walking through the storm with you. Every tear that rolled down your face, I saw it. Every sleepless night, I stayed beside you. Every time your heart broke, mine broke with you. You thought you were carrying the weight alone, but you weren't. There were days when I carried you because you no longer had the strength to keep walking. You couldn't see my hands, but they never let you fall. You couldn't hear my voice, but I was speaking peace over your life every single day. Sometimes my greatest miracles happen in complete silence, not because I'm absent, but because I'm working where human eyes cannot see. I know you wanted immediate answers. I know you wanted the pain to end. I know you wanted everything to make sense. But my child, faith is not built when everything is easy. Faith grows when you choose to trust me, even when you cannot see the road ahead. Every storm has been teaching you something. Every disappointment has been shaping your character. Every closed door has been guiding you toward the door I prepared before you were born. Nothing has been wasted. Not your tears. Not your failures. Not your waiting. Not even your broken heart. I can use every broken piece of your life to create something more beautiful than you could ever imagine. Remember this. Gold is refined in fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Strong trees grow through violent storms, and strong faith is born in difficult seasons. The pain you wanted to escape is becoming the testimony that will one day give someone else hope. Your story is bigger than you realize. Your healing will become someone else's encouragement. Your victory will remind another broken heart that miracles are still possible. So don't lose hope now. You're closer than you think. The chapter you're living today is not the ending. It's only the beginning of the miracle I've been preparing all along. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep trusting me. Because I have never abandoned you. And I never will. The battle. You never told anyone about my beloved child. There is a battle you've been fighting that almost no one knows about. People have seen your smile, but they have never seen the tears that came before it. They've heard your laughter, but they have never heard the prayers you whispered in the middle of the night. You became so good at pretending everything was okay that even you started believing you had to carry it all alone. But my child, you were never meant to carry this burden by yourself. I saw the moments when anxiety quietly stole your peace. I saw the weight you carried into every new day. I saw how exhausted your heart had become, even when your body kept moving. And still, you refused to stop. You kept showing up. You kept trying. You kept believing, even when your strength was almost gone. Do you know why? Because I placed something inside you that your circumstances could never destroy. Hope. Not the kind of hope the world talks about, but the kind that comes from me. The kind that refuses to die, even after disappointment, even after heartbreak, even after loss. That hope has kept you alive, not because you're stronger than everyone else, but because I have been breathing my strength into your weakness every single day. You called yourself broken. I called you growing. You called yourself weak. I called you dependent on my strength. You called yourself forgotten. I called you chosen. Never confuse the voice of fear with my voice. Fear tells you, it's over. I tell you, I'm just getting started. Fear says, you've lost too much. I say, you have no idea what I'm about to restore. Fear wants your attention. I want your trust. So today, stop measuring your future by your past. Stop believing that yesterday has the power to decide tomorrow. It doesn't. I do. And my plans for your life have never changed. Not because you've been perfect, but because my love has never depended on your perfection. It has always depended on my grace. My child, the battle you've been fighting in silence will become the testimony you speak with confidence. The tears you've cried in secret will become the reason someone else finds hope. The pain you've carried for so long will not have the final word, because I always have the final word. So breathe, lift your eyes, and keep walking with me. The healing has already begun. Even if you can't see it yet, the fear you've been carrying is not your future. My beloved child, there is something you've been carrying for far too long. It isn't just pain. It isn't just disappointment. It's fear. The quiet fear that whispers, what if nothing ever changes? What if I lose everything I've worked for? What if this pain never ends? I know those thoughts. I've heard every one of them, even the ones you never spoke out loud. You tried to hide them from everyone else, but you never had to hide them from me. I know the weight you've been carrying. I know how many times you've smiled while your heart was filled with questions. I know how many nights you've stared into the darkness, hoping tomorrow would finally be different. My child, fear has been telling you stories that I never wrote. Fear tells you that you're alone. I tell you that I've never left your side. Fear tells you that you've fallen too far. I tell you that my hand is still reaching for yours. Fear tells you that your best days are behind you. I tell you that your greatest chapter hasn't even begun. Don't let fear become the author of your future. Only I know the plans I have for your life. Plans to give you hope. Plans to give you peace. Plans to lead you into a future far greater than you can imagine today. You don't have to know every step ahead. You only need to trust the one who already sees the destination. Every mountain you're facing, I already know the path over it. Every valley you're walking through, I already know the way out. Nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me off guard. And nothing you're facing today is bigger than my power. My beloved child, you've spent so much energy worrying about tomorrow that you've forgotten I'm already there. Tomorrow isn't waiting for you alone. I'm waiting there too. When you finally arrive, you'll discover that I prepared everything before you took your first step. So stop carrying a future that doesn't belong to you. That burden was never yours to hold. Give it to me. Lay your fears at my feet. Lay your questions before me. Lay your broken heart in my hands. I have never failed you, and I will not begin today. There is peace waiting for you, not because every problem has disappeared, but because my presence is greater than every problem you'll ever face. So breathe deeply, lift your head, and keep walking forward. The fear you've been carrying is not your future. I am. You remember your failures, but have you ever counted my faithfulness? My beloved child, there is something I want to ask you today. You've remembered every disappointment, every door that closed, every dream that seemed to fall apart, every moment someone walked away, every prayer that appeared to go unanswered. You remember them all. But have you ever stopped to remember the countless times I protected you? The moments you never even noticed, the dangers you never saw, the heartbreaks I quietly kept away from your future. Do you remember the opportunity you lost? You thought it was the end. You questioned my plan. But what if I was saving you from a path that would have broken your spirit? Do you remember the relationship that ended? You cried. You begged me to change their heart. But I was protecting yours. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is removing what can no longer carry my purpose for your life. Do you remember the delay that frustrated you? You thought I had forgotten your name. But while you were waiting, I was building the version of you that could carry the blessing without losing me. My beloved child, you have counted your losses, far more often than you've counted my faithfulness. Yet every sunrise you've seen was another reminder that I never stopped caring for you. Every breath you've taken was another gift from my hand. Every time you found the strength to get out of bed, it wasn't because you were strong. It was because I was strengthening you. There were battles you never had to fight, because I fought them before they ever reached your door. There were storms that changed direction, without you ever knowing why. There were moments when I whispered, "Not this one," and the enemy had no choice but to step back. You call them coincidences. I call them my protection. One day, when you stand before me, you'll finally see everything I shielded you from. You'll see every unseen miracle, every silent rescue, every prayer I answered in ways you couldn't recognize. And you'll realize I was faithful, even when you thought I was silent. So don't measure my love by what you lost. Measure it by the countless times I carried you through what should have destroyed you. My child, I have never stopped working for your good. I never will. The story isn't over. In fact, the greatest evidence of my faithfulness is still ahead of you. Before I changed your circumstances, I changed your heart. My beloved child, there is something you couldn't see while you were praying for your breakthrough. You believed I was delaying your blessing, but I was preparing the one who would receive it. If I had given you everything you asked for years ago, would you have been ready to carry it? Would your heart have remained humble? Would your faith have stayed strong? Or would the blessing have become bigger than the one who gave it? My child, I never delay out of cruelty. I prepare out of love, because I care more about who you're becoming than simply giving you what you're asking for. There was a time when one disappointment could shake your faith. One rejection could make you question your worth. One unanswered prayer could convince you that I had forgotten you. But look at you now. You've survived storms you once thought would destroy you. You've walked through seasons you never imagined you could endure. And somehow, you're still here. Not because life became easier, but because I became your strength. Do you see what's changed? The person you were is not the person you are today. Your patience has grown. Your compassion has grown. Your wisdom has grown. And your dependence on me has grown deeper than ever before. That transformation was the miracle I was working on first. Because blessings without character often become burdens. Success without humility can lead a soul far away from me. That's why I shaped your heart before I opened the door. I taught you to trust me in the waiting, so you would never forget me in the blessing. My beloved child, the world celebrates achievements. I celebrate transformation. The world asks, "What have you accomplished?" I ask, "What has your heart become?" Because one day, everything you own will fade away. But the heart you've allowed me to shape will remain forever. Don't regret the seasons that made you stronger. Don't resent the waiting that taught you patience. Don't curse the valley that brought you closer to my voice. Those seasons were never your punishment. They were your preparation. Chapter 8. Your story was never meant to be yours. Alone. My beloved child, there is something you've never fully understood. Today, I want to reveal it to you. For so long, you've looked at your life only through your own eyes. You've seen your tears. You've felt your pain. You've remembered your failures. You've endured the waiting. But you never saw who I was truly writing your story for. You thought I was only changing your life. No, my child. I was also preparing the lives of the people who would one day cross your path. Because the person who has never walked through darkness can never fully appreciate the light. The one who has never cried cannot truly wipe away another person's tears. The one who has never fallen to their knees and called out to me cannot lead a broken heart back into my presence. My beloved child, I was never preparing you only to receive a blessing. I was preparing you to become one. One day, someone will sit in front of you. You'll see the same pain in their eyes. That once lived in yours. You'll hear the same fear in their voice. That once filled your heart. They'll quietly say, "I don't think I can keep going anymore." And in that very moment, you'll tell them your story. You'll tell them how I brought you out of the darkness, how I never let go of your hand, even when you believed I had walked away. And your story will become their hope. That's when you'll finally understand. Your pain was never wasted. Your waiting was never wasted. Your tears were never wasted. I counted every one of them. I stood beside you every single night, and I was turning every broken place into a testimony of my faithfulness. My beloved child, the world teaches people to hide their scars, but I turned scars into testimonies. Where the world sees an ending, I begin writing a brand new chapter. So don't hate your past. Don't reject it. Because the road you once believed was your greatest defeat will one day become someone else's greatest hope. And now, I'm about to reveal something that will change the way you see every tear, every wound, and every season of waiting. Because the very day your name was written in heaven, I had already written your destiny. And no person, no circumstance, and no darkness will ever have the power to change it. You thought your life was falling apart, but I was putting every broken piece together. My beloved child, have you ever seen a beautiful glass vessel shatter into pieces? The moment it falls to the ground, its fragments scatter in every direction, and everyone who sees it says the same thing. It will never be the same again. But my beloved child, the world throws away what has been broken. I create something new from broken things. You looked at the broken pieces of your life, and you wept. You believed everything was over. But all that time, I was picking up every single broken piece with my own hands. Not one piece escaped my sight. Not one tear fell to the ground without me seeing it. Not one prayer failed to reach heaven. You thought your faith had become weak, but the truth was, your faith was growing deeper than it had ever been before, because true faith is not born in comfort. It is born in the middle of the storm, when everything goes according to your plans. Faith is easy, but when every road seems closed, and you still refuse to let go of my hand, that is where faith begins to grow its deepest roots. My beloved child, you looked at the broken pieces of your life, one by one, but I saw them as one complete picture. To you, every painful moment seemed separate. To me, every moment was part of my perfect plan. The day you were rejected was the first step toward the new path I had prepared for you. The day you found yourself alone was the day you heard my voice more clearly than ever before. The day you were completely broken was the day you stopped relying on your own strength and learned to trust mine. Do you see it now? What you believed was your greatest defeat was actually your greatest preparation. My beloved child, if I were to show you your future today, you would thank me for every tear you cried in your past, because then you would understand I was never working against you. I've always been working for you. And now, the time is very near. What you've waited for so many years, is already making its way toward you. But before it arrives, there is one final truth I want you to understand, because the moment you truly understand it, you will never hate your past again. You'll look at every painful memory with new eyes, and you'll finally realize what you called your greatest defeat I turned into your greatest testimony. The miracle you have been waiting for has already begun within you. My child, you have been waiting for a miracle for a very long time. You have been asking me to change your circumstances, to remove your struggles, and to open that door that you have prayed for so many times. And yes, I will do that. But do you know what my greatest miracle is? I do not change your circumstances first. I change your heart, because the day your heart changes is the day your life begins to change. My child, remember the first time you called out to me. You were filled with fear. You had questions, pain, and disappointment. But today, you are not the same person anymore. Yes, there are still some wounds. There are still unfinished dreams. There are still doors that remain closed. But inside you, there is now hope. There is now faith. And that was my first miracle. You kept thinking that nothing had changed, but the truth is, you changed. Before, every storm made you afraid. But now, even in the middle of the storm, you search for me. Before, you thought every problem was the end of your story. But now, you understand that every problem is not the ending of my plan. It is only the beginning of a new chapter. My child, you look into the mirror and see your face, but I see your soul, and I want you to know, your soul is not the same as before. You are stronger now. You are more humble. You are more compassionate. And most importantly, you no longer live only for your own happiness. You pray for others too. And that is the most beautiful evidence of my work inside you. Because when a person's heart changes, their world slowly begins to change. And now, I want to remind you of my promise. Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. My child, did you hear that? I did not say I would reopen the old road. I said, I will create a new road. So do not cry over the door that is already closed, because I am preparing a path before you that you have never even imagined. And when that day comes, you will look back and smile and say, Lord, if you had answered my first prayer back then, I would have never reached this place today. But now, there is still one final thing that remains, the one thing without which this entire story would be incomplete. Because now, I'm about to give you a promise that will become the foundation of every day ahead. And after that, you will no longer live in fear. You will begin to live with faith. I never left you, and I never will. My child, after coming this far, I want you to place your hand over your heart for a moment and simply listen to me, because what I'm about to say is not only for today, it is for your entire life. For a very long time, you lived with the fear that one day everything would be taken away again. What you have received would not remain. The relationship you saved would break. The peace you finally found would disappear. But my child, fear is not the truth of your future. Fear is only the echo of yesterday's pain. And today, I have come to silence that echo. You are no longer a prisoner of your past. You are an heir of my promise. Listen carefully. I make this promise to you. When you become weak, I will become your strength. When you cry, I will see your tears. When the world does not understand you, I will understand you completely. And when you feel that taking even one more step forward is impossible, at that very moment, I will lift you in my arms. My child, you will not receive every answer today. Every prayer will not be answered in a single moment. But there is one thing I give you today with certainty. You will never walk alone. This is my promise. People will come, and people will leave. Circumstances will change. Seasons will change. Time will pass. But my love will never change. My presence will never change. My hand will never leave your life. Do you remember when you thought, even God is not listening to me anymore? And yet, you are still here today. Why? Because I was silent. But I was never far away. You could not see me, but I was working. And I am still doing the same today. So in the days ahead, if you ever see darkness again, do not focus on the darkness. Remember the hand that held you every time before you fell. Remember the voice that quietly said after every defeat, "Rise, I am still with you." Remember the love that never left you, even during your darkest nights. My child, I stand here holding your future in my hands. You only have one thing to do. Keep moving forward. Keep your faith alive. And every morning, remember this. Your story is not being written by fear. Your story is being written by my promise. And now, the time has come to complete this journey with one final truth. Because what I will say in the next chapter will not be just a message for you. It will be a new beginning for your life. Rise now, because your new morning is waiting for you. My child, if you have stayed with me until this moment, it is not a coincidence. I have used every chapter, every tear, every waiting season, and every word to bring you here. Now, I want you to look back for a moment and see your journey. Look at how far you have come. You are not the same person who was living in fear just a while ago. Yes, there are still some unanswered questions before you. There are still some closed doors. There are still some prayers whose answers you are waiting for. But today, something inside you has changed. Now, you will not walk because of your fear. You will walk because of my promise. Now, every morning, you will remember not your problems, but my presence, because the person who walks with me will never walk a meaningless path. My child, today, I give you one final promise. There is not a single tear in your life that I haven't seen. There is not a single night when I was not near you. There is not a single prayer that has not reached my throne. And there will never be a day when I leave you alone. Remember this. When you cannot see anything, I am still working. When all you hear is silence, I am still creating a way for you. When you become tired, rest. But do not give up, because the story that I write with my own hands never ends in defeat. Now, lift your head. Remove the weight of the past years from your shoulders. Let go of the fear in your heart, the fear that kept pulling you backward again and again. Because from today, you are not walking alone. I am walking before you. I am walking beside you. And when you become tired, I will carry you forward. My child, your greatest identity is not your failures. Your identity is not your past. Your identity is not the opinion of the world. Your identity is this. You belong to me. And what I call mine, no darkness can ever take away. Now go, not with fear, but with faith. Not with complaints, but with gratitude. Not giving up, but standing tall. Because your new morning has already begun. And I will not let go of your hand until I lead you to the destination that I prepared for you before you were even born. I am your God. I know you. I love you, and I will never leave you. Amen. If this message has touched your heart, write just one word today. Amen. And if someone came to your mind, someone who is broken right now, share this message with them. Maybe today. I want to reach that person. Through you. May God bless you.